Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I know you're super busy. Time is precious. I want to say straight at the start of this webinar, thank you very much for investing some time with Aforza today. My name is Dominic Dinardo. I'm the CEO of Aforza, and I'm going to be joined by Nick Eales, my very good friend and co-founder, who's a Chief Product Officer. He's going to give you a demonstration in a few minutes. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Today, we're going to talk about building winning relationships with retailers. Really key source of revenue, of course, for everybody and a key route to market. Now, before we get into the webinar, we want to do something a little bit different today and actually ask you to fill in a quick survey about what you see as key challenges ahead in 2022. Really would love your feedback, and we're going to do some Q&A for a few minutes at the end, and maybe if we get enough out of this, we can tell you what the initial feedback on the survey has been. So you'll see somewhere on the screen, an invitation to a survey. My marketing team is working on that right now, and please, if you can participate, we would love to know your feedback. Before we get into the content proper, I just want to do a very brief introduction to Aforza so you have some context from where we're coming from. Aforza is a cloud software company. We're completely dedicated to consumer goods, food, beverage. We help you market, sell, and distribute your products. We want you to sell more and grow faster. Now, that means we don't write software for automotive or banking or anybody else. We're just myopically focused. This is all we do is consumer goods. So we help you plan, visit, sell, deliver, promote. You get the idea. We're built on the shoulders of two cloud computing giants, the fantastic world-leading Salesforce CRM platform, and we do a lot of serious number crunching on the Google Cloud platform. More on our products later, but importantly, it's important to understand we do full-blown mobile offline capabilities. So our software runs on iOS and Android because we know that if you're at the bottom of a basement bar in Manhattan, in the Amazon jungle, or in the back of a warehouse with a load of fridges, you need this software to work when you're offline, when you're not connected to the internet. That key account management, retail execution, trade promotion management, all these capabilities, your visibility of that 360 degree of your accounts, which by the way, when you see the demonstration, it's got a very particular 21st century consumer goods requirement now you need to do. You need all of that to work wherever you are. And you need to be supporting digital asset management because merchandising and image capture and all these topics are all becoming critical to the way we do jobs today in the 21st century. And that's why customers are able, because this is all online and because it's modern cloud software, obviously there's some configuration, but your time to value with these kind of technologies can be incredibly fast. Companies like Distel rolling out hundreds of users across multiple countries. Craig Price wrote a fantastic case study about this. You can actually find it on our website or on CG Technologies website about how Distel did this. And they went from project start to the first rollouts in about 20 weeks in a big organization. And then you look at companies like Mountain Source in the United States. Great wee company, right? Selling apparel and being an agency for many clothing manufacturers. Smaller company, 2 weeks. You can get time to value very quickly. Right, enough about us. Let's talk about the subject at hand. What is going on? Why are there tectonic shifts in the retail environment? So look, there's a lot been going on, right? Let's just say it. Like the last couple of years, we won't talk about all the disruption and weirdness that we had through the terrible pandemic, but we're kind of coming out of it. Today, by the way, I'm speaking to you from London in the United Kingdom. And thankfully in this country, in this part of the world, the COVID restrictions are finally coming to an end. And wherever you are, by the way, wherever you are in the world, I think we've got something between 30 and 40 countries have signed up across a couple of time slots for this webinar. Anyway, wherever you are, I hope you're well. I hope things are getting better for you too. But I sense that wherever we are, things are coming to an end, right? But don't let the whole last 2 years distract you from the fact that we have macroeconomic major forces at play that are going to continue to cause massive challenges in the year ahead, unfortunately. And now, of course, listen, it's not all doom and gloom, and all of these things is opportunity, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But let's just confront what we all know. There's a lot of inflation out there. There's a lot of raw material price inflation. I did a business trip a couple of weeks ago in Portugal. I was told by multiple customers they were having challenges because of price rises in energy, staff shortages. In fact, if you're looking at the survey, we'd love to hear what you're seeing and give us feedback, and it'd be great to know what the challenges are that we can focus on helping with. So we're seeing all of this. all over the world, right? Staff, inflation, probably, with interest rates and inflation, it's probably biggest in a multi-generation. I'm trying to remember in my lifetime when I saw this last, it might be 30 years ago. With technology as it is, one of the things which is a good and bad thing is we got a lot of competition, a lot of new market entrants. We have people challenging here and coming in, and we'll talk about how they can come to market very quickly, giving us competitive challenges we perhaps didn't see previously. And then while all this is going on, the kind of crazy thing we have to deal with is regulations are not standing still. We've got a lot of high fat sugar salts, sugar taxes, better for you type things going on, and maybe some of these societal pressures maybe aren't bad things, but we're contending with these. Even I've seen like regulations around invoice structure in some countries, all sorts of things happening with we have to confront and deal with how we can manufacture and promote and sell our products at the same time as dealing with a macroeconomic environment that is uniquely challenging. It's a lot to deal with. Now, I appreciate it a lot, but let's not all lose hope, because in all these challenges, there's opportunity, and we should think of it that way. And the retailers, of course, are not standing still, right? When we think about what they're doing, they're thinking about how they can change and structure to get to their target consumers and compete with each other in whole new ways. They are, of course, not just sticking with massive supermarkets now. You see metro stores, you see even entry into the convenience store chains. You're looking at them, how they go direct to consumer. There's lots of things that they're worrying about how they take the products to consumers in a way that they're evolving to. And I think we've seen for a while now, they have a willingness to learn, to test new ideas and try things out. And so the way we engage with those retailers, the way we did our account management, cannot look in this environment like it did in 1990, right? It just doesn't make sense anymore. And, I think very often for the people that are confronting, talking to their retail colleagues, it can get stuck, right? It can start to feel like a zero-sum game. It can start like this tightrope on the slide. It's kind of important. It can sort of feel like I have to give a little and you pull it away from me. It doesn't feel like a win-win. It needs to be different, right? And, I think that we're talking about clout, choice, and numbers in this slide. I think everybody who's had a job where they're trying to work with retailers probably feels a sense of frustration in trying to influence, trying to persuade, and giving that person who has that job, that professional that we put so much trust into, a job where it's supported by Excel and a bunch of staff they cobble together themselves. Maybe that's not so smart, right? And I think that when you look at analyst reports, so there's a great report actually from the POI, and by the way, all these type of reports, we're going to talk about POI, I'm going to talk about Bain. If you want to find reference to them, please reach out to us and we can give you links to where we got all this stuff from. But they come out with some really interesting statistics which I think underpin this. I think the top one here is really important, which is 69% of companies are struggling with managing modern trade. And I think the reason why that is just because of everything I just said, right? That's why. It's not a surprise. But we also need to know that, and we look at the statistics that are coming out here, we also need to know, in fact, it's I think it's a Bain statistic that I'm going to quote here, that retailers are also doing things like forming buying groups and trying to optimize how they actually procure things as well. And that actually, and I think this is a European statistic, it's going to go from something like 40% to 70% of entire food, beverage, consumer goods will flow through this significant retail channel by 2025. And I imagine that's a pattern that maybe it's got different speeds that will repeat everywhere in the world. It's becoming very, very important. Now, what can you do about it? And Bain put together a really good graphic that we think really spells this out, and what we're going to see in the demonstration in a minute is going to underpin this. And as I go around it, just don't forget the bit in the middle, trust and transparency. And I want to add something to what it says in Bain. Trust and transparency about how to build a win-win partnership. You've got to make it a win-win. That's how, to advance the cause to support your business. So that's why stage one is understanding the retailer's economics, right? And when we say that, think about understanding it, but also supporting them with the tools, right? That you can see it, understand it, and construct joint business plans that fit with it, right? And when you do that, you've got to think about how you differentiate that joint business plan, right? That's stage 2 here, and how it's going to help the retailer with their objectives to target shoppers. And then remember, in stage 3 here, it's kind of a key thing here that we mustn't forget, because I see a lot of companies kind of miss this, right? You've got to keep talking to the key customer touch points. You've got to be there and confirm compliance, like all this money that we're pouring into promotions and things. We've got to make sure that's all happening. And we don't. One of the things that this bleeds into the next point, which is maintaining year-round contact with customers at multiple levels and functions. Multiple levels and functions. I think there's a tendency we get trapped into, like, I call it single threading. Well, our guy talks to one girl, or like it's a one-to-one relationship between key people, right? That's not enough. These people could be completely telling each other the truth as they see it, but it doesn't give you the holistic perspective of everything that's going on. And you can only achieve that if you think about a number of key contacts in places, and you're able to do this and have this data feedback and engagement. Triangulation of all the people and data is really, really important, which kind of leads to number 5, right? Which is, imagine doing this without advanced tools or insights. Like, I would just say that's a bit like trying to be like an explorer from history where you're going across the Atlantic and you don't have a compass. How could you do it? It would just be insane. And I think if you're listening to this webinar and you're thinking my account team uses Excel or something, or I've got data given from SAP that's in a format. Yeah. So listen, with that, that was maybe a bit too strong. But with that, I'd like to introduce my good friend and co-founder Nick here now to actually bring some of this to life and show you these points in the demonstration.
Thank you, Dominic. And once again, thank you everyone for joining us on the webinar today. In the demonstration, I'm going to take you through some of Aforza's key capabilities, including key account management, retail execution, and joint business planning. And I'm going to show you how you can use those capabilities to build the best relationship with your customers that you can, and go to market in a joint way that helps you achieve those 5 key points that we were talking about earlier. So we're starting the demonstration today logged in as a key account manager called Sophie, and Sophie is managing and looking after one of her largest accounts today, the Fresh Start Shop group. And there's various different outlets that are in this group, and she's really focused on the Southeast outlet today and really trying to narrow in and hone in on how we can improve the Southeast area for this Fresh Start Shop. So immediately when she comes onto her account page, she can see this overview which gives her all of the high-level details that she needs to know at a glance when she's talking and building relationships with this customer. So she can see, based on the audits we've done in the store and based on external data that we've taken in, we can see our share of shelf. We can see if there's a competitive threat that impacts us within that outlet or group of outlets. We can see the revenue target, again, either at a group level or a regional or territory-based level. And then we can see the overall promotion compliance that we're seeing from these groups of outlets based on our field team going in and doing compliance audits. If I scroll down a little, Sophie can see all of the different products and assets and assortments that we're selling within that individual outlet or within that group of outlets. She can see compliance against promotional criteria. She can see the status, the stock levels, the shelf price. Really, we're tracking any sort of information that is either pulled in from external data or that I've gathered from my field teams as well. So this immediately gives me a really good view of what's going on. We can see our revenue target's okay, promotion compliance is not as great as it should be, and we've got a high competitor threat in the store. I can also then move on to all these other tabs, which gives me much more detailed information about this account. So on my sell in and sell out tab, I can see all of our revenue and financial information, again, that we are either selling into the account via our order capture, or when the account is selling out to our consumers, we can see that information in here as well. So in here, I can see our overall financial effectiveness, which is based on some metrics we're tracking. I can see what we're planning to do at this account, what we've managed to do via sell in and what we're getting in sell out. And then we can scroll down and we can see actually the revenue breakdown per product SKU or brand, the volume by different category. And we can see on here actually that the ice cream products that we're selling, the SKUs that we're selling, are not doing fantastic sell-out revenue or volume at these particular outlets. So that's one data point we want to keep in mind when we're talking to the customer going forward. So along with these high-level metrics, we also, of course, have the really granular detail that we can get to about this customer, where it's located, shipping, billing information, policies, outlet information, financial details. All of this is here if we really need to get into the detail. And along with that, we've got the related information. So these are all the contacts that might be working there, the different locations or premise at a specific outlet, the orders that they've placed, either through EDI or from telesales, contracts we've got in place with them, payment methods, invoices, absolutely anything you need to get that full 360-degree view of the customer. So having all of this information, along with the sell-in and sell-out data in the overview, really helps you understand the retailer's economics as well as your own. And this is what you're going to use to really go to market with them in an effective strategy. So along with the Account 360 and all of those financial details, we also have our hierarchy. This lets us keep track of how we're dealing with the overall nationwide chain. So you might be dealing with a region, as we are now, or a specific outlet. You might be dealing with it at group level or country level. Really, it's up to you how you go to market and how you want to engage with this customer when you're doing your joint business planning. But this helps you really easily visualize that, and you can map out really sophisticated hierarchies. So again, that you know you are being effective on the correct level of that customer account. We also have our segmentation capability, and this is really important because this helps us go to market and differentiate with your customer based on metrics or targets they have. So for instance, we can see details about this customer that we've captured, like how compliant they are with promotions and how their relationship is with us. But then also we can see target metrics that the customer might have. So for instance, the demographic that they're targeting, footfall targets that they want to meet. So do they want to have a larger footfall for this year based on displays and promotions that they've got in store? We can see specifications about the shop, competitors that are in there, geographical information, facilities they have, really any information you want to capture about the outlet from a customer's perspective or from a company perspective can be captured here. And this is really important because this really helps us define how we go to market with this customer and how we meet those targets and objectives. So the last two items I want to show you on this key account management view are firstly the promotions. And the promotions is where I can see all of the marketing campaigns or promotions we're going to market with that customer. So these are jointly agreed business strategies that we've decided to start running, and we can see all of the current ones that are available and being run at that outlet or the region or the nationwide level. And this isn't a static list. This can change based on the criteria that your customer is setting. So if I go back to the segment and I change something on here, so let's say we recognize that they're a VIP, so we actually need to spend a lot more time with this customer because of some criteria. We can mark them as a VIP. It gets added into the relationship status here. And back on the promotions, if I refresh this, I can now see that we have a number of new promotional activities and campaigns available for this account. So we can see they're now eligible for these VIP promotions, including this frozen goods promotion. And this might be just the thing that helps us improve our revenue against the frozen goods that we know we're not doing too well based on that sell-in and sell-out data we're looking at. And then the last tab I want to show you here is our documents, or our digital assets. This is where you collate and contain all of the different material and digital content that you might need when dealing with this customer. So this could be data they have given you, whether it's the sell-out data or whether it's Nielsen data you've collected, deduction management data. This could be where you store your contracts, your joint business planning agreements. This could be where you see your compliance photos from visits. So perhaps there are empty fridges and empty shelves when there shouldn't be, and your field team has captured those. That could be stored back here against the account, which can be used with your deduction management, your claim management. And then it could also be used for measuring, capturing business metrics that you want to keep an eye on and you want to have a snapshot of. So this is all here and available, and no matter what channel you're on, whether you're in the field or whether it's your customer engaging with us through the commerce and self-service portal, this information is available where and when you need it. And nowhere is this more important than with joint business planning. Being able to properly collaborate and share your documents and your objectives with your customers is extremely important when you're trying to plan out an effective strategy. Through digital asset management, you can preview these digital joint business plans that you've created with your customers. And using Aforza's joint business planning, which I'll show you in a little bit, you can map out objectives and goals that you want to achieve with your customer base. So that was a very high-level overview of the different capabilities here on the account page, whether that's looking at an overview, looking at the financial details, or managing the segment and the promotions you're running. But how do you go about actually collaborating and planning with your customer? That's where our joint business planning capability comes in, and I'm going to swap over here to our Plan tab, which helps me plan and manage the objectives and the targets for this specific chain. So here I am on my joint business planning dashboard, and I can see I've got a number of options available to me. Right now I'm on my overall business objectives tab, and this is where I can see how we're actually performing against the targets we've set as a joint business plan, whether that is revenue targets, in-person visits, increasing volume sold, running new promotions. We can monitor it all here. But then when we're coming up with these objectives, we can also see the other tabs that give us the information we need. So we have a promotions tab, and this is where we can see how our joint marketing initiatives are actually performing. How are those promotions generating revenue for us? Are we actually hitting against our predicted revenue targets based on those metrics we've set together? We can see how individual SKUs are performing. So this is really an extrapolation of that sell in and sell out data. And again, we can see in here that our frozen foods, while doing okay, they're not performing as well as our beer, wine, and spirits category. So we'd expect this 11K to be a lot higher. We also have the ability to look at our budgets to see, do we have any budget to run any additional promotions or marketing campaigns? And then inventory levels. So when we're actually doing our sell into the customer, we need to make sure we've got the right inventory to supply the orders that they're placing. So this is where we actually monitor and manage those metrics. And if I want to actually collaborate with a customer, it's extremely easy. So we have our own collaboration capability, which lets us go back and forth with our customer. They get a view very similar to this, and we can start discussing these plans, discussing these targets, and making sure we're really aligned. And also importantly, that as we're going to market and as we're trying to hit these targets, we're able to make real-time adjustments. So we can see a number of conversations that have been started here. We can see one that we started earlier, which is around our volumes not being as good as they should be. We're not hitting our targets in certain regions. And then we can see the customer collaborating with us, asking for more in-store support to come and help actually manage the planograms, manage the shelf placements, and really help push our brands as much as we should be within the store. So let's say I wanted to go in and actually add a new conversation on here. What I can do is I can go and click on the individual metric that I'm worried about. I can click annotate, and this lets me post a brand new message to the team. So I can go and post a message about our revenue figures not quite hitting the targets they should be and share that. So it now looks like revenue's not going to hit our target, and I can mention that new VIP promotion that we've just enabled for them. So we can start leveraging that new promotion to try and push those frozen foods and to try and get that revenue target up to where it should be. So obviously the customer will get a notification, they'll be able to see this, and then they can start discussing the possibility of running this in the store. And this is where really our order capture and our sell-in capability comes into play. So up here on the top, we can see our sell tab, and this is an order that was placed via an EDI integration. So the customer's already placed this order. Again, it might be done at the nationwide level, it could be done at a regional level, but this order's come into the system, and we can see that it's quite a large order. We can see all the products that they're looking to purchase. that we're going to sell in and they're going to then restock and use. And we can see they're using their nationwide discounts that they're getting. We can see some of the commercial policies and pricing and volume-based discounts that they're getting automatically. And we can see it's a pretty full cart full of items, so it's looking pretty good. But based on that conversation I just had with the customer, perhaps we want to try and sell this new VIP promotion in. And if they're happy, we can actually modify this order and we can upsell to help them push their revenue. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this promotion to add it to the shopping cart. And this is that special VIP promotion where they get a freezer to display some more marketing material. And this is really going to help push that ice cream. And it's also going to allow them to do a 50% discount on the ice cream, again, to increase that revenue substantially. So I can go in and while talking to the customer, I can position some flavors that we think might be appropriate. And then once we're happy with this configuration, we can actually go ahead and just increase the quantity of this promotion significantly and add it to the cart. And now what that has done is added the promotion to the cart. It's added all of the compliance. It's added all of the metrics we need to track to that customer's dashboard. And now when that delivery is placed via the distributor, then the correct promotional material and the correct promotional products are going to be given to that region so that they can go to market effectively and hopefully increase that revenue. So that was a really high level overview now of our key account management with some joint business planning, and then how we can actually modify orders and take new orders into the system and upsell based on promotional material. Now I want to swap over and give you a view of field teams and how they can actually go in and help support a store, help monitor that store, and then also help to make sure that the promotions we are selling to them are actually being adhered to and they're fully compliant. So let me swap over to the mobile app now and I'll show you that experience. So here we are in the Aforza field execution and merchandising application. The application is 100% offline. It runs on tablets and phones on both Android and iOS. And I'm logged in as a field user, and I'm about to go and visit this Fresh Start Shop Southeast that we've just been talking to and joint business planning with. And when I use the application, I can see all that same information that I had access to in the web view, in the HQ view. So I can see here all the details about this customer, where they're located, all of the contact information. I can see those same attributes in the segment details, so their compliance rating, their relationship, including that new VIP tag that got added recently. And I can tweak and tune these while I'm on site with the customer as well. Along with that, we've got our resources, our documents. So this is where we can see all those different documents we need to have available to us as a field rep. And we can see obviously the most critical one here is that joint business plan. And just like I could in the HQ view, I can look at that same business plan and have access to that directly on the mobile device while offline. And this is great for when you're in a store and you're talking through the shared objectives with your customer and you want to discuss them in detail and have a visual aid to make sure that you're both aligning to that strategy. And then finally, we've got notes. And the notes is where we can start to see information that's come from HQ about what we need to do to support this customer, whether it's helping them organize their shelves, whether it is checking the new VIP promotion that we've just sold them is being complied with. So I can review all this information before I actually visit. And then when I get to the store, I can simply click Visit Now. And this is going to take me to the Visit Overview page. And this is where I can see all the different tasks that I need to do or I might want to carry out as part of my visit with this customer. So I can see right at the top of the list, we have that check promotion compliance. We also need to survey the competitor offerings because we know there's a high competitive threat there. And we need to make sure that it's not directly impacting the revenue that we should be generating. And then we could review merchandise. We could even capture an order if we needed to. But what we're going to do is focus on the merchandiser and the auditing capabilities here. And we want to make sure that this customer is getting the best value from the promotions that we're putting in front of them and that they're complying with the stipulations that we've laid out as part of the joint business plan. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by checking promotion compliance. I'm going to do task 1. And when I click that, it's going to ask me for some basic details. And then I can go ahead and just start that audit. And when I'm doing the promotion compliance audit, I have all the different products and assets that we know are being promoted in this particular outlet. So we can then quickly pick and choose and update each of these. So I can go through and I can check if the compliance, if the product is being complied with, if it's in the correct location, if it's fully compliant, if it's missing. I can choose the location that they've actually set up these promotions in the shop. I can make sure that they're discounted, so I can check those off. I can enter the shelf price. And as we scroll down, we can see that VIP promotion that we just recently sold them. And we can go and we can make sure, yes, it's fully compliant. All of these products are being discounted correctly. The shelf price is correct. We can even go ahead and add photographs to each of these to make sure that everything is as it should be. And as we're going through, we can check these off the list. Of course, we can add photos like I mentioned before. So if I go to photos and I click add photo, I can choose one from the gallery, or I can take one using my phone. And for instance, if we see there's an empty fridge there, we can capture that photo, and now that's there and part of the compliance material that gets uploaded against that account and against that particular compliance audit. Once we're happy with that, we can click confirm, we can submit the audit, and it now gets checked off the list. So that's one task done, and all that information is pushed immediately back against that key account management view, so we can see whether they're being compliant, and we can get notifications and alerts when something is not as it should be. And of course, we can also do things like survey competitor offerings. So if we want more of a Q&A based approach to capturing information, I can go through here and complete a survey. All of this is completely configurable, so the correct surveys are displayed to your field users for the correct accounts. So I can go and I can select what competitors are being sold in that store. What are the products they're displaying, or where they've been displayed, how effective is their marketing, and then how are the customers responding to our competitors? Are they actually excited by their products, or do they seem to just be passing over them in favor of our stuff? And then we can start organizing and ranking items as well. And again, once we're done, we can complete the survey, and that gets checked off the list. So this is just a really quick overview of how you can actually go in with the mobile application, and you can make sure that when you're with your customers, you're engaged with them, you're collecting the right information, and we're directing your field teams really effectively and really efficiently. So in this demonstration, we've gone through those 5 key points. So we've shown you how you can really understand your retailer's economics as well as your own, looking through the sell-in data, the sell-out data, and making sure that all of that information is aligned, and that we can use that and leverage that to build out the best strategy possible for your promotions and your campaigns that you're running. We've looked at how you can actually differentiate your joint business plan. So how do I align that business plan with your retailer strategy using our segmentation, our attributes, to make sure we're targeting their metrics and what they're looking to do correctly, and doing it in a dynamic way, so if something changes, you're able to respond to that and be a really effective partner with your retailer. And then I've shown you how you can have teams on the ground using the mobile application to really effectively take that strategy that was planned at HQ and just run with it when you're in the store, whether that is checking promotion compliance, whether it's helping your retailer through new merchandise and through planogram management. And I've also shown you how you can collaborate either by being in the field and talking to the customer, or by using our collaboration capabilities when you're doing your joint business planning through HQ. And of course, all of this comes back to the insights. So as we go into the store, as we collect information, whether it's from sellout data or whether it is from the field teams, all of that information goes back into our insights capability. So you get real-time analytics that help you make these decisions on the fly and help you build that best-in-class relationship you have with your retailer and go to market much, much more effectively. So hopefully that provided a bit of context and was a useful demonstration. I'm now going to hand it back over to Dominic so we can go through the rest of the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick. That's fantastic. I know it's our own software, so I kind of get excited about it, but every time we do something like this, I do get really passionate about it. Really, really pleased. I really enjoyed that. Love to do Q&A about it and some questions at the end. Let's just go back to that whole Bain graphic again to wrap up what Nick just told us. Number one, understand the retailer's economics. We saw the charts, saw the data, saw the joint business plan stage 2, saw how we're tuning it and differentiating it. Number 3, customer touch points, confirming compliance, definitely saw that. And maintaining year-round contact with customers, multiple levels. Obviously, incredible CRM platform going on there, and advanced tools and insights. So I just want to repeat those points. Remember, let's come back to the whole theme of the webinar: building winning relationships with your retailers, because it's really important. It's going to be an increasing channel of revenue. Increasing importance for your revenue for channel to market. Doing this right is really, really key. So. Thank you, Nick. Now, one of the things that I think that makes the Aforza proposition particularly valuable for our customers is just this continuous rate of innovation, right? Like, we do 3 releases a year, and actually, I haven't counted it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is like in spring, at end of March. This will be our 9th release, our 9th version of the software. All of the Aforza customers who are subscribers, it's a subscription model, get the 9th release as part of their subscription. And you can see here there's this wave of continued value, capabilities, functions that we're giving to our customers, which, in the same way as you use, Google Mail or something like that, it's just there, right? It upgrades seamlessly. It's not disruptive to you. All the things you did, your configuration is protected. And I think that the value of this can't be understated. Many customers are on legacy systems, old software, finding it hard to migrate. It was so expensive to put in, and now I don't want to touch it. But the trouble with that model was you could be left behind. And for all the reasons we talked about and all the challenges we're facing, you do not want to be left behind. You spend so much money on your sales and marketing, your promotions. Why on earth would you, send your teams out there without the right tools, technology, and 21st century technology, up-to-date technology that they would need. Because the topics and because it might look vast, I think there's 3 keys to success we think are really important, and we've got Namibia, Mountain Source, and Distill here as examples. The 3 people we were talking about earlier. Number 1, start fast, right? It's really, I think, in all these kind of projects, no one's got the patience. Like years ago, enterprises would spend 2-3 years trying to do TPM, trade promotion management, and spend tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars and get where, like some bespoke, custom, works for us, scared to change it solution that's hard to maintain. People complain about it anyway, probably, right? So start fast, right? Get to value quickly, and then obviously keep it simple. And it's easy to say, perhaps harder to do, right? But there is a way to do this, which is product-led design. Take the product out of the box, look at the process, just use it, or find really good reasons why it couldn't be that way, and minimize any changes from deviation. Out of the box, standard is best, right? Keep it simple. And then, like I just said in that innovation slide, continuously improve. And Aforza's got managed service offerings where we can help you with this. But once you get live and get value from it, it doesn't have to stand still. You can use this as a way to keep boosting the effectiveness of your team over time. But it's something in sales organizations you should never stop. It never stops, right? So it's something to keep it alive, keep it fresh, keep going. So start fast, keep it simple, continuously improve. Pretty easy. And we are very fortunate. We've customers now all over the place. Recently, very pleased to welcome Codexio in France, a consumer health company, and Brewdog, famous brand in the United Kingdom. Actually now international, the United States and elsewhere as well now. Look out for them. And you'll see that we've got beverage companies, health and beauty, food. We've basically got a gamut across the world. And if you would love to know more about customers, it's actually we've made a conscious effort to document all those case studies and put them on our website. So please do take time to peruse them. Contact us if you want to meet anybody or ask any questions. We'd love to share. We're really very much big fans of having customers talk to customers and explain challenges and benefits they've received, and really get the whole community to help each other for all of our mutual value. All right, so hopefully we've got you fired up and you find all of this exciting and motivating. What do you do? That it can be easy, all right? Listen, it doesn't have to be hard, thankfully. And there's really 3 easy steps. right? If all we've done is captured your imagination, like, let's talk. We'll do some discovery, we'll ask you some questions, we'll show you more, and between what we've got and what you need, we'll find a way to produce simple proposal, and then, all going well, we just get started and just get on that race to value. Because, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, time is the enemy, the clock is ticking, and we need to keep moving on because the world is not standing still, and all these changes and events are going to continue. And if there's ever a time when the placement of that product was more strategically important to your business than ever, it would be now, because these people we have working for us to try and place the product, to understand the inventory on hand and where it needs to be and where it should be and how it should be priced and how it should be promoted. All right, with all the challenges we have around us, that has never been more important. So, hey, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transition to the Q&A. I'm going to try and figure out if we've been able to do the survey. I hope we have. And I will be, let me just try and switch now to figuring out how to get to the Q&A. And please stay with us for the Q&A if you have to shoot off. Thank you. But I will do the Q&A and thank you properly in a sec. Let's have a look.